welcome to Gulfstream today, and welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is Belmont Stakes Day, and of course, you can watch and wager on the Belmont Stakes right here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. And we're going to offer an 11-race card today. We're starting the day with both a good main track and a good turf course.
Yes, and we have the Christmas Past Stakes coming up a little bit later on in the card today. So hopefully you're ready for Christmas a little bit early. We have a nice stake to add some excitement to that 11-race card today, and then hopefully you're here getting to put all of your wagers in on the Belmont card as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and as I mentioned, you can watch and wager on the Belmont Stakes, and we got lots of things going on this afternoon.
You have your Belmont tie on.
I have my Belmont tie.
I got my black and white. So
this is from the Billy Badgett collection, so I get my Belmont
very
tie
nice,
on it.
Very nice.
Let's show you our wagering menu this afternoon. It's a good way to start. We got the rolling soup of high fives throughout the afternoon, as long as there is 7 runners or more in the race, and we do have 8 runners in the first race. And we also have the first of 2 pick fives on the afternoon, and this one starts in race number 1, 50-cent wager. Acacia will have her ticket in just a few moments. Then we're going to fast forward today with an 11-race card. The Rainbow Six starts in race number 6, and you see the carryover of a little over, but just about $3,500. Yesterday, 6 out of 6 paid $2,600. So even if you don't get that one unique ticket, that 6 of 6 plays really nicely. And then we end the day in race number 7 with our final pick 5 of the afternoon. And by then, we'll be loaded. We'll have tons of money to be able to play this late pick 5 this afternoon. I got a good feeling. So let's go to race 1. 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life, or 3-year-olds, $10,000. Jockey change on the 1. Make the rider Lionel Reyes. Lane Luzzy will be off his mounts today and for a little while. Had an unfortunate accident a couple of days. He's going to be out about 4, 5, 6 weeks. So a speedy recovery for him. And let's get right to your pick 5 ticket.
Okay, give you a peek at my early pick 5 ticket, races 1 through 5. Wasn't able to find a single in either of the pick 5s today. I thought it was a very wide open day, but it kept it at $54. We do have 11 races on the card, 3 deep in the first 3, and then 2 deep in the final 2. I was going to maybe single in one of those last 2 legs. Decided to go 2 deep just to be safe, but certainly if you can find a single, it's a good place to do it towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, I started my analysis in here with the number 1 Starship Frontier, who's dropping to this $10,000 level, stretching out to 1 mile and 1/16. 6 previous races at this distance with a win and 2 seconds, so 3 for 6 in the money. After the pair of third-place finishes, and that was against $16,000 types, and that was going shorter. So the gelded son of Smoke Glacken, I think, sits in the catbird seat behind the speed in this race, likes the distance. I thought it was the logical one, but we're sort of in agreement. There's other ways to go. This one I would not hang my hat on as a single.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the same 3 horses, just our trifecta is flip-flopped and backwards. I ended up going with the number 5, Diaz on top, who ran very impressively last time out on a turf that was labeled good. That was a mile. This one has quite a bit of speed. The other speed horse to me really looked to be right next door with the number 4, Road Warrior Max. I agree that from the rail, Starship Frontier will probably sit just behind, but again, I thought that Diaz ran very well last time. Coming back now, that was the 3rd race off of about a 5-month layoff as well, and just seems to be continuing to perform and dropping slightly into this $10,000 level. I thought there was definitely a lot of room for improvement today.
Yeah, and his speed must be respected in this spot, and it's just how this race, how the trip plays out this afternoon. And as we mentioned, ran well on a good turf course, and we do have a course with some moisture in it today, a little bit of cut, so we'll see how that goes. We both used the 2. Talbot County is another one of these who's dropping to the $10,000 level after returning from a layoff. Went up, stalked the pace, finished 3rd. That was against 16 condition claimers going a mile on a good turf. Trainer Steve Clisaris worked him a half mile in 48 flat. That's a pretty good work in preparation for this assignment. We've mentioned a bunch of times this barn has been going really, really good. So one of the horses we both have on our ticket.
Absolutely, and for all of those reasons, he was sitting very well last time out off of about that 5-month layoff. Diaz was 2nd in that race. The runaway winner that day was very, very Stella, who had just been doing back-to-back wins that day. Only beaten by 4 1/4 lengths off the layoff, and I thought it was a very beneficial first race back.
And once again, the main turf course listed is good, and we're going to have the second race on a good turf course too. In this one, 1 mile and 1/16, maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and up with a couple of scratches in here. Number 8, Vanishing Lady, who was my top pick in the race, and also scratched the main track only. Number 9, Little Alexandra, and we both. Well, I have the number 1, Sunrise Bernstein, on top of my ticket. It was a sharp second in a career debut. That was on the turf. It was during January. Then comes back, throws out a bit of a clunker, finishes 7th in a 1 mile turf special weight outing back on March 13. Trained consistently in preparation for this assignment. Kathy Ritvo is the trainer, Luca Panici in the saddle.
We'll give you a little stat on her sire, Bernstein. Bernstein, with 3-year-olds and older on turf, averages about 17% win. There's quite a big sample there, but he's had 260 winners with the 3-year-olds and up on the turf, and that's the biggest percentage of this field with 3-year-olds and older on the turf. So I thought that was something interesting to note. Her debut was made on 7.5 furlongs on a good turf track that day. There's a lot to like at this horse. I ended up going with a little bit of a gamble on top, and that's the number 2, My Awesome Mom, who's been working really fantastically coming into this race today. It's going to be her first time on the turf. They tried to run her on the turf last time out. The race ended up being taken off the turf. She found a sloppy track and finished 4th behind a couple of her other horses in this race. But if you go back, she's just been pretty consistent in her dirt form. And as I said, they tried to run her on the turf last time. What really attracted me was the turf pedigree. She's out of multiple graded stakes winner, Dearest Trixie, who was also 1 for 1. She only ran 1 time on the turf, but it was a victory. And she is by Awesome again, who's about 10% with 3-year-olds on the turf.
Well, she's sitting up there at 4 to 1, so she's one of the choices in the race for all the reasons in case you meant it. But I like a 12 to 1 shot in here. I'll tell you why, and that is the number 5 horse in here, and that is Bygone Days. This is an intriguing possibility, I think. She debuts on the turf. She dwelt at the start last time out in a career debut on the main track. But that race turned out to be a monster key race with 4 next out winners, including Go Maggie Go, who went on to win the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks and followed that up with a victory in the Grade 2 Black Eyed Susan on the day before the Preakness Stakes. So this horse, I'm going to say it's a first-time starter that ran into some strong field last time out, and give this one another shot. So number 5, Bygone Days on my ticket, trained by Amy Tarrant and ridden today by Matthew Rispoli. A little bit of guess on my part, but I think this is an intriguing possibility, like I said.
This is a very intriguing race, and one of the other intriguing ones is the number 4, Annabella Princess, who's a $300,000 daughter of Kitten's Joy. She had the best, if you're a person that looks at the buyer figures, she had the best last out buyer last time, finishing 4th. The winner that day, Now Power, came back to wire the field in an A of an N at Belmont, and it just seemed to be a little bit of a key race there. She's had 6 starts so far. Last time was her first time stretching out to the mile in the 16th, and might be able to improve off of that. Gustavo Delgado and Eddie Castro.
Well, as I mentioned, I had my top selection got scratched out of the race. That's 8, Vanishing Lady. So I put the number 6, Gelato Girl, in the ticket. Going back to the turf after responding. In her first race around 2 turns, she ran good. A 3rd place finish against maiden special weight competition, going a mile in the 16th. That was on the sealed sloppy track. It's a daughter of Hat Trick. Should handle the turf course. And I think the thing that woke her up was the added distance in there. Ridden today by Eder Montez. So I just thought maybe this horse, I don't know what it is on the line, 10 to 1 on the morning line, but a wide open affair, especially with the scratch of the number 8, Vanishing Lady. And that is race number 2. With that said, we'll go to race number 3, 5 1/2 furlongs. Claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $6,250. Jockey change on the number 8, make the rider Gerardo Canales. And I found this race so hard to handicap, and I look up and we're almost in total agreement. We both went with the 6, Ya Está. And I struggled in this race.
I really did too. This is a race where a lot of these horses, I say it kind of often, that they just take turns beating each other. So you're just wondering who is going to show up on that day. What I ended up going with was the horse that showed quite a bit of speed last time out. First off the claim, moving over into the barn of Aubrey Mirage, won and finished ahead of quite a few other horses in this field.
Yeah, it's 7 hard-knocking 7-time local winner, so you got the horse for course angle going on your side. I threw the 8 in second, you had in the 3rd, Summertime Music. That's the one I mentioned. I'll have the jockey change to Gerardo Corrales, dropping to this level on the main track, cutting back to a sprint distance after showing speed and weakening late. In 8 consecutive route races on the turf. But if you go way back, you'll see this was a three-time winner on the main track, on the fast main track, and maybe worth a look at a price.
Yeah, 5 wins in life, 3 wins on the dirt, 1 on a wet track, and 1 on the turf. So maybe the switch back over to the main track is exactly what this horse needs. In recent past performances, the last 2 dirt races have been on a sloppy track that have been taken off of the turf, and both of those have been kind of disappointing. But this horse has been keeping pretty decent form in his last couple of starts, and I think that she might improve going back over to the main track. I thought I was being a little bit sneaky with that one, but looks like Ronnie beat me to it.
And we also used the number 4 Starship Tammy.
Yeah, this is another one, just a tried and true, consistent, another one who's often up in these kind of fields, running against horses like our top selection, Yasta, always right there.
Yeah, and ridden today by our leading runner, MCL Hanamio. Going to race number 4 this afternoon, a 1-mile maiden claiming event. 3-year-olds and up with $10,000. Jockey change on the 5 and make the rider Leonel Reyes. And as we mentioned, Lane Leslie will not be on his mounts this afternoon, so you'll get all those updated scratches and jockey changes from our track announcer, Pete Aiello, in just a bit. We're in agreement here, total agreement here. Cool ruler. It's easy as 261.
Absolutely, and this is the horse that I really considered singling in my early pick 5, Cool Ruler, but coming back in just 8 days, there are still some question marks about this 3-year-old colt. I think in this race where there just really seems to be a total lack of early pace,
no speed.
This is the horse that'll be going out to the front and might be able to just run away with it from there.
Yeah, we're in a total agreement. It's the son of Einstein. As you say, looks like he can beat his speed. This field is really devoid of any kind of pace in there. We used the 6 and second Thunder of Fleet, who's cutting back to a 1-turn mile on the main track after stalking the pace 5 wide, fading to finish 7th against 12-5 maidens going a mile in the 16th on the grass.
Yeah, and this horse is coming back over to the main track, also taking the blinkers off. Has never run with blinkers off before. We go back. The last time that he ran on the dirt, it was against $12,500 claimers, and it bumped at the start, so I think you just put a line through that. A lot of respect for Dave Casson as a trainer, and we'll have Ramirez aboard taking that slight drop in class. I think all of those things together might be able to get a piece of the pie.
Templar Warrior, the one horse we used, the close to be 3rd at this level in distance last time out. He'll be there, I think, to pick up the pieces probably if Cool Ruler fails to negotiate the distance again. And I think we got the logical 3 with that.
So.
Let's go to race number 5. And this one is a 1-mile claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life, $6,250. The jockey on the 2 is apprentice John Cruz. I went with the number 8 horse in here, Roriyama. You went to the number 6, a horse I did not use on my ticket.
Yeah, I can totally understand going with the number 8, Roriyama. And this horse was the odds-on favorite last time. She was beaten as the favorite. She was second behind a long shot winner, Feeling Awesome, or relatively long shot winner, Feeling Awesome, who won by 8 3/4 lengths that day. I took a little bit of a gamble and went with my song, Venezuelan. Emisel Jaramillo has ridden Roriyama in the last 2 starts. Instead, he's going to be on the number 6, My Song, Venezuelan. When he teams up with Oscar Gonzalez, they have quite a bit of success together. This is the first start for this horse in the Gonzalez barn, adding blinkers for the first time. 3 back had a nice win against $35,000 claimers and was a huge long shot in stepping up in class after that. So dropping now, all of those things together might be a bit of a long shot play.
And, Roriyama's stuck in second gear. So once again, a horse that certainly does not have to win. We both have it on the ticket. I went with the 2, Glotona again, is stretching out to a mile. Rallied 4 wide to finish 3rd against Simla, going 3/4 of a mile. Alan Mirage, apprentice John Cruz, I mentioned that's the jockey change in there. Thought this horse maybe will come up and grab a piece in there. Don't know what it is. I think it's 8-1 or 6-1 on the morning line. So a logical choice in there. Who else you use?
Well, I rounded it out with the number 3, Holiday Gift, who I liked to run in the money last time. Ended up finishing 3rd, though it was beaten by 12 lengths. Came out of that same race that Roriyama did. And coming back now in just 9 days, both of those R's. But now is 3rd off of a bit of a layoff, and it just really seems like this filly has continued to improve.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll show you that Rainbow 6 ticket, or my Rainbow 6 ticket this afternoon. Welcome back to Gulfstream today on Belmont Stakes Day, and a lot of horses running up at Belmont Park. You got to see all winter long here in our championship meeting. So lots of horses, you know how they run, and we'll see how that all plays out a little later on in the car. But with that said, we start the Rainbow Six right here. Race number 6, 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. $10,000. Jockey change on the floor. Make the rider Jesus Rios, and let's show you my Rainbow Six ticket. There you see it, 1, 3, 5, 2 deep, 3, 4, and I got a single in race number 10, and that horse is 10-1 on the morning line, and that is Dunkirk's Boy. Swinging for the fences this afternoon, and I closed it out with 3 deep, $43.20, and we got to have Dunkirk do the job for us. That's a little later on. With that said, I'd like to see how you started the 6th race this afternoon.
Well, I started it out with the number 3, Valordo, who I see you used on top as well. This one dropping down to this level a bit. Last start was the first start in the Francisco D'Angelo barn. Finished 5th, but was only beaten under 2 lengths in that race. Came behind a horse named Acknowledge, who ran the other day, a really, really game second, a horse that we liked a lot, and Amazon King, who was the next out winner. So I thought a bit of a key race there.
Yeah, I've been following this race all week long.
Yeah.
As you know, I had a horse come out of this running against these horses that paid $100. So all those reasons you mentioned, I had the number 3, Valorado. I think it's pronounced. We'll have to check with Peter on that. I think we got it right. And we both used the number 1, Run Saichi, in second. This one's second at this distance back on April 24th, stretching out to 1 mile and a 16th again after rallying to finish second. It was 12-5, 2 lifetime claimers going a mile. Terry Pompey, Eddie Castro. Logical one.
Absolutely logical to have on your exacta trifecta tickets. This one seems to be pretty consistently right up there. I don't know how much he really likes to win, but he's often right up there.
And I know you used the 4 on your ticket, Handicapping.
I did. This horse broke his maiden just last time out, won by 3/4 of a length after wiring the field that day. Came ahead of a couple of hard-knocking 12-5 maiden horses in there. So broke his maiden at this distance, actually, too. That was stretching out to 1 mile and a 16th. So might be able to continue to improve. We talk about this sometimes. It's horses that take a little bit of a while to break their maiden are able to actually continue on with that success.
Yeah, I got a 12-1 shot. I got some interest in here, and that's the 5 Venezuelan Success, one of the horses I did use on my ticket. Stretching out to his best distance thus far, 2 starts with a win, looking to close on what on paper appears to be, I thought, a suspect early pace scenario in here, and I looked for this one to be closer to the pace last time out. Was too far back, so I need a little bit of a, if this horse is closer, maybe can get up and steal a part of this race, at least. I don't know if it can beat the horse we had on top, but certainly could be on the ticket. With that said, we'll go to race number 7. 7 furlongs, claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life for 3-year-olds, $6,250. Jockey change on the 7. Make the rider Alex Gonzalez. The weight is 122 pounds. And with the 7th race, we have our final pick 5 of the afternoon and Acacia's late pick 5 ticket.
Yes, we'll give you a little peek at my ticket. $48 for this one. Once again, wasn't able to find a single. Went 2 deep in 3 of the races, 4 in race 9, which I thought was a very wide open race. And that is actually, I believe it's the Christmas Pass Stakes. So you don't want to get knocked out of the pick 5 in a stakes race was my idea. So a little bit deeper there, and then 2 deep in the final 2 legs.
I don't see anybody named Dunkirk in race number 10.
He's on my top 3. I didn't use him on the pick 5, but I hope since he's your single, he comes through.
Well, we both have you have it in second. Number 4, Manny Blue Boy, moved to the Jacob Molina barn, Vita claim, cutting back to 7 furlongs, a distance that succeeded at once before 2 starts, hitting the board in a trio of 6,200 condition claimers. New rider today, Sammy Camacho.
Yeah, and I want to go back and show the last race of this horse. I had him in second. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win, but I think he's going to be a little bit of a vulnerable horse taking money. We're going to show the head on here to start. This horse was just wide throughout and had a bit of a tough trip. So see his rider moves him out. Alex Gonzalez was aboard that day. He ends up moving out. So he's out in the middle of the track at the start of the race. They were coming out of the chute there. You see now he's in a better position. He's able to rally. The winner, Flashing Cat, that day was a runaway winner. He he won by 4 lengths. But I thought that Manny Blue Boy, after having to go wide through so much of the race, it just showed the head-on of the stretch to start, but he was wide throughout the entire race. Very game for second, I thought there. There was no catching the winner, but he was able to hold on from second after approaching rivals.
Yeah, I mean, I put him on the ticket for all those reasons that you just shown and mentioned there. And who did you put on top of your ticket? You went with the number 7, and that is Pure Talent from the Peter Walden Barn.
I did. I went with Pure Talent, who has quite a bit of early speed. And this one really faded and gave way last time out. Was beaten by double-digit lengths, but it was on a sloppy track. It was at the 7 furlongs. That was stretching out after running a 5.5 furlong sprint for a solid third, 2 back. If you go 3 back, the last time that he ran a fast track with the 7 furlongs was a nearly 4-length victory. He won't get a fast track today. He'll get a good one, but he won't have the slop or the kind of rough pace scenario that he had. He came out behind a couple of other horses in this race, but I think he'd be able to improve from that performance.
And as we mentioned that to Alex Gonzalez, with the writer of it, I didn't know what to do with the 6 Jungle Jumble. This one moved to the Angel Medina Bonvita claim, $10,000 claim, so they dropped him to the 6,250 level on the dirt. He faced better with some success in 7 career races on the turf, 7 starts, 2 wins in the third. Alvaro Adonis will be the pilot. Now, I just don't know why he's in a main track race, but he's dropping down. It looks like a spot. Either he's going to run well in here and win it, or he's going to be on the board somewhere. I believe that.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with him, so I left him off. But it could be one that might make a sneaky run there, moving over to the main track. I ended up going with the number 8, General Shema, in third, who you used in third as well. Finished behind Manny Blue Boy last time out. Another one that had a bit of a wide trip. He was just the best of the rest is the comment. I think that's a good way to phrase it. And he's one that kind of hangs a bit there behind the leaders, might be able to be up in the action again.
Yeah, he's 5 for 10 in the money at this, the 7 furlong distance, where some horses run well at this distance, and being 5 for 10 in the money looks like he will grab a share.
Yeah.
Race number 8 this afternoon, 7 furlongs, claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. Big full field of 10 runners in here, and a real head scratcher. And when I look up, and we both have the 10. Big distinction on top of our ticket.
Big distinction. First off, the claim moving over into the barn of Walter Woodward. I think that this horse will be a little bit more forwardly placed than he has in some of his previous races. He's also a first-time gelding. Last time out, dropped to this level and finished a very solid second, though the beaten favorite, but he was only beaten by half a length behind Mass Approval, and he had to go a little bit wide, and I think it was a really solid performance.
Yeah, and that track was listed as good. Embassy El Jalamillo will be in the saddle. I have the number 2 horse, who you have in third and second. Peace Militant is another, trying 7 furlongs after stalking the pace throughout in that race, finishing second. It was against the same caliber competition, going a mile. Maybe to turn back to 7 furlongs will do the trick. Now in second, you use number 3 horse, our old buddy, Papa Pig.
Yes, this one is one of 2 Antonio Sano trainees here in this race. He also has the number 5, Moranazo, who won and broke his maiden last time out. But Papa Pig, the last time that he ran the 7 furlongs on the main track, it was his maiden victory, so he's 1 for 4 at this distance. Some of the other horses in this field don't have a win at the 7 furlong distance, so I did like that for sure. And he looks to be one that can sit a pretty good trip as well. I mentioned that I think Big Distinction, the 10, will be a little bit more forwardly placed, and I think that Papa Pig might be able to sit mid-pack and make a late run.
Yeah, I just thought the 6 Ronto's Dream has a tag sliced in half, was 12-5 last time. A good spot for this horse. Certainly the gelding can run well against this level of competition. That is race number 8. And now our feature race of the afternoon is race number 9, and it is 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. It's fillies, 3-year-olds, non-winners of a sweepstakes, $75,000. It is the Christmas past, and boy, it's a nice race. We got a full field of 11 runners in here, and we both went with the number 9, Temple Fur, on top of the ticket.
This one really looks to be the logical one on paper. Stretching out in distance again, has run the mile and a 16th before. It was a 5th place finish, but only beaten by 3.5 lengths. She then came back and had 2 back-to-back victories, one against both against $25,000 optional claimers, one at a mile, one at 7.5. So stretching out again, but working very nicely coming into this as well.
Well, the horse that you have in third and I have in second is the number 4, and that's Double Entendre. And this one 5th on the dirt behind Superstar Go Maggie Go in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, and a troubled 12th in the Black-Eyed Susan. And I thought we'd go back. This track on the main track, but shipped all the way up to Baltimore. I want to show you the trouble this horse had early on and going into the first turn. This horse that day is the number 8 horse, and really never gets a chance to show anything at the beginning. As you'll see it, just gets it squeezed in, bounced around, and everything like that, and shuffled back, and just never got that place to run. Was actually next to last early on in the race, and I know they were expecting high things of this horse. And you go up, and you could see going into the first turn, just boxed in between horses. And you could see right here, steadied again, almost had to pull off the horse to its inside, and of course didn't run from there on. But I just thought off that performance, they thought highly of this horse. Now that was on the dirt. They're shifting this one to the turf today, but I think this one is going to run well and maybe get a bit of a price. I don't know what is on the morning line in there. 6 to 1. So I just wanted to go back and show you, and the connections were very high on this horse.
Absolutely, and we saw this horse schooling before she shipped up to run in the Black-Eyed Susan. Again, just to think highly enough to run a horse up there in the Black-Eyed Susan. Certainly some props there. They're going to take the blinkers off as well. They added the blinkers for the Black-Eyed Susan bid. Javier Castellano was aboard that day, and you'll get the leading rider here, Emmy Sale Jaramillo, today. But I think taking the blinkers back off, back to a track where she's comfortable and has run before, might be able to make a little bit of a better run today with a clear trip.
Well, the horse you have in second and a half, third, we got our bottom part of the tribe flip-flop is the Bonita.
Yeah, this horse was second in her last 2 starts, 3 back, ran a mile and a 16th in the Grade 3 Florida Oaks over at Tampa back in March. She was a huge long shot that day, but she finished 8th, but she was only beaten by 3 lengths. I thought it was a very solid performance. Yep,
and I like her on there. We got a similar try there. I'm going to give you one more horse real quickly, and that's the 2 Virgin Morena. This one a recent winner against $16,000 2 lifetime claim. It's at this mile in the 16th distance. 4 starts in the Gulfstream turf now with 2 wins. So likes the turf course. Was 4th behind the horse we were talking about, Temple Fur, who's going to probably be the favorite in the race. Wasn't beaten that badly, and that was at a mile. I'm expecting more from this horse at a mile and a 16th. 20 to 1 on the morning line, so maybe this one could run well in there. We're going to go the race number 10, 7 furlongs allowance, optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, or the optional claiming price of $16,000. Jockey change on the 8, make the rider John Cruz, and you have the number 2 Scam right on top of your ticket.
I do, and you have the horse in second. This one is 5 for 6 in the money at Gulfstream Park. Doesn't have a win on the Gulfstream Park track yet. But first off the claim, moving over into the Peter Walder barn, and I think he's been keeping some pretty solid company. I don't know if he has the speed and he might hang a bit and he might end up getting beat, but he does have that speed, will be positioned closer to the rail today. There is some speed from the rail from the one You Can't Stop Me as well. Might be able to sit just behind and sit a good trip.
Want to hear about my single?
Yes.
Number 6, Dunkirk's Boy, a lightly raced son of Dunkirk's, is making his first since following his maiden special weight debut victory at this distance. He comes back in that race, and he duels for the lead. He weakens to finish 4th behind a horse called Sharp Azteca. And what does Sharp Azteca do? Goes up and wins the Grade 3 Pat Day Mile, and that race was a $75,000 optional claimer. So Sharp Azteca, I just thought this one is flattered by that. Had to take a chance in the Rainbow 6, 10 to 1 in the morning line. I'm going with Dunkirk's Boy right on top of the ticket. But, if you can spread, you got to use Scam on your ticket, too.
I agree, and I think that he's one that if he doesn't win, he'll be right up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see a good run from Dunkirk's Boy. I rounded it out with the number 3, Rasta Rant, who's a hard-knocking 5-time winner out of 35 starts. Was 3rd last time out on a good track, stretching out slightly now to the 7 furlongs.
Chris the Great is turning back to 7/8 after tracking the pace in the slop. He finished 5th against this caliber. It's Kathleen O'Connell. Blinkers on for this assignment. I think we had a stat yesterday about how good she does with blinkers on. So if you can remember that one, otherwise we'll look it up and let you know about it later. But that's how we see the 10th race this afternoon. And, you got Dunkirk's Boy on there.
I do. Oh, no, I didn't leave him off.
Never mind.
Getting all touchy.
Race number 11, 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claim is 3 and up, $12,500. We do have a jockey change on the number 7, and they make the rider Eddie Castro. 13 and 14, as when we came on the air, we're still in. Like I said, Pete Aiello update you all that when we have. You're starting it off with the number 7, Awesome Tram.
I am, and I'm going to go back and show the video from May 30th. This horse's last start. This was 5 furlongs on the turf, had cut back in distance slightly. He's the number 9 here. You see him sitting in a good position here. Just want to show the stretch run once the video gets going. Ended up finishing second after sitting pretty well behind the leader. Shape of My Heart was the winner that day. It looked like the number 9 there, it looked like he was going to be able to go on and win the race at one point. Then you see the horses to his outside starting to run. You think, oh, he's going to fade. He's going to be third. He's not going to be in the action. He held very gamely for second as Shape of My Heart split horses and came through up the middle to win. But horses were just running all over the track, shifting lanes and all of that. And I thought that he was very game for second to only be beaten by 1 length.
I'm still on this bandwagon I'll tell you about right now, and that's the 11 Woodford Channel. It's turning back to 5 furlongs, went up, set the pace, faded to finish a distant 5th. Behind that, repeat winner, Called Acknowledge, and next out winners, Pasta Giovanni and Weezer Gone Great, a ladder paying $101 when upsetting the Wednesday's 8th race. So I've been watching this race, and amazing, even the horses that haven't come out have come out and run well. They've shown some speed. So Woodford Channel on top of my ticket for that reason. I know this one 12-1 on the morning line, so I like this one today. Now we both would use the 4 in second.
I did. I used the number 4 Cantrell in second. But if you haven't gone back and circled that 7.5 furlong turf race on May 11th, that was won by Acknowledge. I really agree with you. It has become a bit of a key race there. I ended up going with the number 4 Cantrell in second. Now in the Diane Marici barn, has been keeping some decent company last time out. Finished 5th last time. 3 lengths beaten by next out winner Canarsie Kid. El Señor de los Cielos, who was a very game second yesterday.
Number 2, Alsvid Gold Faxi will depart from an inside post. He showed speed. He got caught late when breaking from post 6. That was in the 7-horse field. Wasn't that far out, but there was a lot of horses to its inside. And post 10, when he finished second back on April 30th, he's the inside speed today, or part of the inside speed today, with a shot to make every call a winning one.
I agree. Might be able to blast off and say that's all.
Yeah, Alsvid is, we love the name.
We do.
Well, that's how we see the 11 race card. We got lots of fun going on. We got that feature race a little later on, the Christmas past. And, of course, a little later on in the day, you can stop, watch, and wager on the Belmont Stakes right here.
Who's your pick, by the way?
I'm going to go with Exaggerator. I was looking at it. I tried to find somebody else. And who's yours?
I'm going to take Governor Malibu, 12-1 on the morning line.
Oh, I like that.
Taking a little bit of a gamble, so we'll see.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Good luck, everybody.